Hi, everyone. I'm very glad to share my first qualitative study after interviewing some healthcare researchers in Montreal. It's focused on how do members of unofficial language groups use AI tools to coordinate their actions with others in health work. I regard unofficial language groups as people whose first language is not English or French in Montreal, Canada. First, I want to see there is a policy in Quebec from the government to show the hospitals can deny offering English services and also other types of languages except for French, because French is the only official language in Quebec. It could be very bad for those who cannot speak French in Quebec, especially in the emergent room, which could be very emerging for such patients to get help from doctors. Moreover, you can see a lot of employees in the healthcare organizations. They are not from Canada and their first language may not be French. And language could be very specific dimension of the groups because usually the people whose first language is not English or French, we call them unofficial groups, are commonly accepted to acquire a new language skill with the efforts in their communication. Especially such group coordination is very acute for such groups among the health workers. Even roles they may feel lower status. Previous study shows such unofficial language group perceived identity-based exclusion and had fewer job opportunities and even be pushed by other groups exclusively to use a official language for coordination. Even for the AI technology, I use the ChatGPT to draw the photo to show doctors and nurses in a hospital. We can see the AI has some bias to say the doctor could be white guy and the nurses could be females and from looks like from the countries whose first language may not French or English. That's why I'm interested in how the technology-based activities can influence people's coordination in the context of the health researchers. Especially there are some inconsistent results from previous study. For instance, a research suggests the technology-based activities may improve the group's coordination by reducing their hierarchy and enhancing lateral communication. However, another research found after using new technology, the health workers experienced a reduction of joint task performance in coordination because they feel they lose touch with what they can do with their bodies. Furthermore, previous study also found unchanged processes between the group's technical usage and their coordination. That's why I focused on how do the members can perceive lower status because of their language skills among health workers. And how do members of unofficial language groups use AI tools to shape their group coordination? I define the members of unofficial language groups as those first language are not official, while such as the people's first language is not French nor English in Canada. Previous study also considered them as lower status group because such unofficial groups must provide dominant language services fluently, especially in the healthcare settings. Moreover, I regard group coordination as the kind of group members' collective processes for communication and realize their collective goals. For instance, like the nurses from the Asian, they have to coordinate the doctors from Canada. To deal with such research questions, I collect data from a case-based study in Montreal, which focused on two dental labs in a university from this May. After I interviewed 5 PhD students and 1 postdoc, I divide them into 3 different language groups. The first one is what I mentioned, they are unofficial language groups, which means there are 2 Chinese and 1 Indian, 1 Yemenis. They are not born in Canada, and their first language is Chinese, Indian, and Yemenis. And there are like 3 PhD students and 1 postdoc, and their main tasks are doing research tasks such as experiments in the labs and also do something about language related tasks, including writing English papers and applying for patents in French. Moreover, there is only 1 PhD student whose first language is English, but he's also studying Chinese because his mother is from China. So I regard him as the in-between language groups. He has similar research tasks as the unofficial language groups. Finally, there are 2 supervisors. Their first language is English or French because they are born in Canada, and their main tasks are conducted the administrative tasks in labs, such as managing their lab meeting once a week, and they are speaking English and applying for some scholarships in French. You can see they have very multi-language environment in such dental labs. Moreover, I collect data from 3 main ways. My primary data is the interview because I want to know their perception about their language status and coordination. That's why I interview 5 health researchers and about 5.5 hours, and I got their identification of the technical and coordinative features, especially focus on the AI-based activities. Moreover, I do something like the shadowing when they are using AI by their laptop or smartphone. Shadowing means I will not have direct participant while observation, but I can follow a person to collect very detailed data when he or she is using AI. After this shadowing observation, I observe their official meetings and also unofficial lunch discussion about their like daily work, about their dental experiments. Finally, I'll also analyze some archival data about how students can use AI in the coordination. For instance, I got 5 internal documents in English and Chinese to see their schedules, their working draft, or their grant applications. Moreover, I also got some external documents in English about their published papers, their books, and also published reports. And for my results, I found there are 4 types of AI-based activities. For instance, there are some predicting AI to say, like the researchers, they use AI to detect certain nerves in the mouth, and also they can avoid crucial and anatomical problems, which is said by the only one in between group member whose first language is English. Moreover, I think there are some things like communicating AI, which means like this one, people and researchers use AI focusing on improving their writing and reading and communication. Like these people says like she thinks there are more students in China than Chinese students in Canada to use ChatGPT to translate the whole English paper into Chinese, which is by the year 1 PhD student who first language is Chinese. That's why you can see the differences between the researchers whose first language is the official one or unofficial ones. That's why I proposed this model to say there are 4 types of AI. And if they focus on the communicating and recognition, they will have more multilingual practices, especially it's from the unofficial language groups, and they will have some meaning construction of the communicating changes. After that, they will improve their communication efficiency and also exceed their human cognition. At the end, they can blur the boundaries across different language groups to improve their internal coordination. However, if there are official language groups like the 2 supervisors whose first language is French or English, they use AI to do more administrative tasks and also professional tasks to control or to make decision making in their labs. That's why they have more monolingual practices and also have some meaning construction about their professional changes. After that, they may expand their occupational knowledge and also change status and breaking boundaries with the researchers from other majors, such as they mentioned, like they can collaborate with the researchers from computer science to do some 3D models for the teeth. At the end, they may have more external coordination with other people in other majors and break the boundaries across different professional groups. That's why you can see it's very interesting. The third group, the in-between groups, which means the people can speak other unofficial language, although their first language is the official ones. They can have more types of processes and coordinations to combine the unofficial and official ones. And to see there are 3 stages in the coordination. The first one is the changes of their AI-based activities. And the second one is the processes of meaning construction. And finally, they will have different types of coordinated processes. So my conclusion is AI can enhance unofficial language groups' multilingual efficiency within the internal coordination. However, it can also give rise to the professional boundaries between the unofficial and official language groups. That's my sharing about my very pilot study, and I hope to get your feedback about my questions. First, is it better for me to use a multiple cases approach to compare different processes after using different AI? Because this is a case study that I focus on the dental labs to see different language groups may have different AI activities, but I'm not sure is it better to have the multiple one. Second, is it more proper to compare different AI activities or just focusing on AI communicating or AI chatting? Because I think generative AI is different from other types like AI robotics or AI softwares. So maybe I'm not sure should I only focus on the generative AI like the ChatGPT. Third, is it more proper to compare different language groups to focus on, or just focus on the unofficial groups? And the fourth one is how to improve my theoretical contributions. The 5th one is also about theoretical contributions. And finally, could I revise this model into a conceptual paper, like a paper in the Journal of AMR in the future? That's my question. Thank you so much.